And the YouTubes says we are live. Good afternoon, everybody in the Bear Nation. I'm that bear guy from the internet. We're going to do a little intel brief today. You know, if you're new here, do the YouTube thing, subscribe, ring the bell icon, leave a comment for the algo. If you're not new here, you absolutely know what to do. Share the show with somebody you love. Leave a comment for the algo. Ote. Thank you, Bjarg. 5x5. Gray Man says 5x5 as well. Appreciate you. The show, of course, today is brought to you by refugemedical.com. I'm not a shill for Refuge. I'm the founder and CEO of Refuge. You know, it's a pretty good company. We've only saved 82 lives in the last 4 years with our equipment. So we'll talk more about that at the end of the show. Today, we're going to talk about Big Brown, the UPS, a little bit more of an update on what's happening with the potential UPS strike, UPS versus the Teamsters. As a good side note, we should figure out are there any public major sports arenas being built right now, because we might, just saying, the Teamsters are involved. If somebody goes missing, that might be a good place to look. We're also going to talk a little bit about public education or lack thereof. And then we are also going to read an article from RT, the headline of which is Child Molesting U.S. Gymnastics Doctor Stabbed in Prison. Yeah. It is righteousness to hate wickedness. Bear Independent Brief, 10 July 23. UPS, the United Parcel Service, is still barreling towards a nationwide strike. Talks have stalled between the Teamsters Union and the ubiquitous delivery company as both sides point fingers at each other, saying the other has walked away from the negotiations table. One part-time UPS worker, Jess Lister, told Atlanta News First, quote, "We are practicing in case negotiations are not reached that fulfill our demands. There will be no service happening in or out of these buildings. We are practicing for the real day on August 1st. UPS trucks will come to a screeching halt nationwide, and it's going to cause a lot of issues. We get poverty wages for doing backbreaking work. We create astronomical profits for this company. We know the money is there. We know the value of our labor, and we're demanding that it is returned to us." Interesting. Now, I'm not a UPS driver, and I'm not an executive at UPS, so I'm not intimately familiar with the details of what the union is asking for versus what UPS is offering. And I don't understand their metrics, their KPIs, their key performance indicators, lifetime value of a customer, cost per driver, et cetera, et cetera. I don't know how much money we're playing with here. I do see, it's very interesting to me, the phrase, "We are practicing in case negotiations are not reached. We are practicing for the real day on August 1st. They're running drills, bro. So it makes me wonder if the Teamsters are running drills in case UPS says, you know what, we're not doing this. Lee Iacocca style. We're not doing this. What drills are you running in your home with your team, with your group, your tribe, your mutual assistance group? Because the Teamsters think this is real enough that they're running drills for what they do on August 1st. How seriously are you taking your preparedness? Like, what was the last thing that you drilled? Just a rhetorical question. If this strike does come to pass, it will have a significant and meaningful impact on the U.S. supply chain. UPS handles about 6% of the economy's goods and employs about 340,000 workers. So 6% of the entire economy rolls through UPS trucks. In fact, if this strike takes place, it would be one of the biggest company walkouts in U.S. history, with widespread implications. Dun, dun, dun. The deadline to come to a resolution is at the end of this month. I'm looking at the chat. I should never look at the chat. In other news, the U.S. education system is in a challenging place as teachers are fleeing the field in droves. In fact, a press release from the National Center for Education Statistics revealed that just last year, 44% of public schools reported full or part-time teaching vacancies. NCES, or the National Center for Education Statistics, Commissioner Peggy G. Carr said, quote, public schools report they are struggling with a variety of staffing issues, including widespread vacancies and a lack of prospective teachers. Resignation was the leading cause of the lack of teachers. I wonder why so many teachers would resign like that. I can't think of anything in, say, the last 2 or 3 years that would cause teachers to just resign. Can you?
Couldn't have been mandated to resign.
I don't think they mandated anybody to resign. I mean, that's an interesting observation, though. And what could it be? I wonder what it was. What could it be? Mandy Davis, a former private school principal, was recently interviewed by Fox News. She left to homeschool her own children and noted, quote, the deep-rooted issues, end quote, that arose from too few teachers, saying, quote, I talk a lot about the current teacher shortages because it affects so much. It's causing larger class sizes. With the rise of discipline and behavioral issues in the classroom and the shortage of teachers, that's not the type of balance we want to see. Yeah, discipline and behavioral issues. Something that jumped out to me recently, I was reading that Big Blue book the other day, and the concept of discipline, right? So first of all, spare the rod, spoil the child. Raise your children up in the way that they should go so they do not depart from it when they are older. Yeah, like raise your children. It's not the school's job to raise your children. It's your job to raise your children. It's not the state's job. It's not grandma's job. It's not anybody else's job. It's your job to raise your children. The father reproves and instructs. He disciplines the ones that he loves. He does away with the ones that he doesn't love. The ones that he does love, he disciplines and reproves and instructs. Discipline. Look at the root of that word, and then look at the disciples of Messiah. Disciple, discipline. You want to be a disciple, you have to be disciplined. If you're disciplined, you can therefore discipline your children. If you're disciplined, you can positively affect everything and everyone around you. The root of disciple, to be a disciple, is discipline. And I think that gets lost a lot in today's, love the sinner, hate the sin. We're going to take up another love offering for the children's ministry. We need to raise $17 million for a new building for the children's ministry. Shut up, you flaming sopping wet P word. Discipline. Back to public education. It is like a full-blown Monday on this side of the camera. I don't know about y'all, but here it is a full-blown Monday. The education system in the United States has been on the slump for a long time. In 2013, a new survey showed that in 30 years, America had gone from the leader in quantity and quality of high school diplomas to being ranked 36th in the world when it comes to math, reading, and science. According to DoSomething.org, teacher quality is one of the most significant factors related to student achievement. And with the ongoing mass exodus from the education system, quality teachers, or the quality of teachers, is certainly on the rocks, creating cascading effects through its impact on future generations. I wonder if maybe the reason good educators are fleeing the public education system, I wonder if it has anything to do with like woke bullshit ideologies. And probably not, but it might be a contributing factor. It might have something to do with COVID protocols. Probably not, but it might, just throwing these things out there. It might be that some people got to see behind the curtain for the first time and they were shocked and appalled at the amount of authoritarian power that was wielded over them. So they were like, you know what? No, it might be that for like the first time, maybe in their entire adult life, they realized, I can work from home. I don't have to go back to that building with all those people that I don't really like. And those children are a-holes. Now I'm going to stay home. So, of course, public education sector, not doing so hot, everybody. I don't think, or rather I shall say, I believe a lot of people who are in the Bear Nation are homeschoolers. And I think that's cool. Homeschooling is a lot of work. It's a lot more work than I think most people bargain for. Or at least for us, it was a lot of work. But it's not so much work that it's impossible. And I think that has a lot to do with raise your children up in the way that they should go. Unapologetic Farmer said teachers are no longer allowed to discipline their students. The classroom has become a circus. Well, it depends on where you live, bro, because where I live at the beginning of every school year, we sign a piece of paper that says you are allowed to paddle my child for disciplinary reasons. Now, my arrangement is I will be there when you do this. And if it's righteous, give them all the whacks they deserve. If it's unrighteous, I will give you all the whacks you deserve. And I have had that conversation with every one of the educators that my children have been in the care of. And they've all agreed to it. And I think that's a fair rule. If my kid deserves it, go ahead and smack their butt with the paddle. If they don't deserve it, I'm going to go ahead and smack your butt with the paddle. Fair is fair, right? Now, brief today. It is Monday afternoon already. I will have you know, I have checked all of that, not all of, but most of the news sites that I typically look at every day just to see what's out there in the ether. And it is a day of bleh. Yeah, it's a technical term, bleh, when it comes to news. RT is just filled with bullshit Russian propaganda about the Ukraine war. The Blaze is filled with bullshit domestic stuff and like partisan issues. Like some of the headlines from the Blaze: alien technology from interstellar meteor allegedly discovered by Harvard researchers traveled faster than 95% of all stars. Okay. Whitlock: critics hate the sound of freedom because it reminds men to eschew cowardice. New York City proposes hiring private security for migrant facilities amid police staffing shortage. Too volatile and dangerous for unarmed peace officers. The House Republicans should not pass a defense authorization bill without these 8 policies. I don't care. And then The Guardian is just meh today as well. NATO paved the way for Turkish EU entry, then Sweden can join alliance, says Erdogan. Flooding in Vermont. There's just a lot of BS articles. But amongst all the BS, I did find this one article. And while I hate what happened in this article, I applaud the way it was handled. So we're going to read. This is at RT, but it's also on The Guardian. It's a couple of other places this morning. Larry Nassar, child molesting U.S. gymnastics doctor, stabbed in prison. Can I get an amen? I will pass the plate for that shit. I'm all over. You need a new knife? I got you, bro. I ain't keister stashing it, but I'll get it to you somehow. Let's read about Larry Nassar. Larry Nassar, the disgraced USA gymnastics physician who abused hundreds of women and children, has been stabbed during an altercation in a Florida prison, the Associated Press reported on Monday. The judge, but you're a Christian. You're supposed to love and be the love and be the light. Yep, I agree. And that's not a bad rebuke, comma. It is righteousness to hate wickedness. Those of y'all who do the Torah portions, what was the Torah portion 2 days ago? Pinchas, Phineas, shoves a spear through 2 pieces of shit. 2 of them, both of them, Zimri and Cosby. Plunk. So literally on the heels of that Torah portion, hey, look, unrighteousness, I'm going to shove a spear through it, at which time the Father says, and I will make an everlasting covenant of peace with Pinchas, with Phineas, because he ran through 2 scumbags. I don't care how your pastor feels about it or what your upbringing tells you you should feel about it. God loves it when you spear abominations. He makes an everlasting covenant of peace with you. You sound like a religious extremist. Yeah, probably a little bit today. I'm a biblical literalist and a constitutional literalist. What does it say? And then I'm going to do that, what it says. It's not a living document open for interpretation. Back to Gary Nassar. He got stabbed in a Florida prison. The judge who sentenced Nassar in 2018 said that her ruling would be his, quote, death warrant, unquote. This judge is badass. I love this judge. Two anonymous sources told the news agency that Nassar was stabbed multiple times in the back and chest by a fellow inmate during a fight at the United States Penitentiary Coleman in Florida on Sunday. That'd be yesterday. One of the sources said that the former physician was in stable condition as of Monday. Nassar, what a shame. Nassar worked as a coach with the U.S. national gymnastics team in the 1980s and was the team's doctor from 1996 until 2014. During this time, Nassar molested at least 265 young women and girls, including including Olympic athletes and children as young as 6 years old. Rock pile this MFer. Nassar also worked with high school and college gymnasts, and in 2018, Michigan State University agreed to a settlement of $500 million with 300 additional women who accused him of sexual assault. Nassar was arrested in 2016 when the FBI found more than 37,000 images of child pornography on his computer. While the agency was criticized for failing to take action against Nassar when allegations of abuse surfaced a year earlier, the child porn charges saw him sentenced to 60 years in prison in 2017. He was then sentenced to between 40 and 175 years behind bars on state sexual abuse charges by a Michigan judge in 2018. Quote, I just signed your death warrant, end quote. Michigan Judge Rosemary Aquilina told Nassar as she handed down her sentence. Aquilina called Nassar a monster and told him that he didn't deserve to walk outside of a prison ever again. Litigation over Nassar's decades of abuse is ongoing. Last year, 90 victims sued the U.S. government demanding $1 billion in restitution over the FBI's failure to intervene earlier. A Justice Department report in 2021 found that this delay allowed Nassar to abuse an additional 70 victims. USA Gymnastics and U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Committee has also agreed to a $380 million settlement in 2021 for failing to protect their young athletes from Nassar. Now, what that tells me is they've agreed to a $380 million settlement. That means they didn't want this thing to go to trial, which means that they could actually be implicated in knowing that this guy was a piece of shit, and yet they employed him anyway. Or at least having allegations that this guy was a piece of shit, and yet they employed him anyway. Girls as young as 6 years old. I hope the next cholo that stabs you in the pen does a much better job. Larry Nassar, you piece of shit. And that is the brief for today. That's what I got. That's all I got. If you're one of those people that jumps off when it's time to discuss the value exchange, you know what to do. Beat feet, skedaddle, get out of here. Have a blessed day. Shalom. Beat it, kid. For everybody else, very briefly today, in the chat, not in the chat, in the description, you got links to all this cool guy stuff, Patreon and Refuge Medical, Refuge and Grindstone Ministries. Patreon this morning, we talked about MilSim training for SHTF. Pretty good video. 7 pros and 3 cons of MilSim training for SHTF. So go check that out. There's a link in the description. It's $5 per month, man. $5. Refuge Medical, the kit of the week is the birth and postpartum buckets, which are HSA and FSA approved. What is it? 12:54. This is my first cup of coffee today. And I wish that I'd been sleeping all morning, but I haven't been. My Monday has been a react to contact all day. This is the baby birthing bucket from Refuge Medical. Preppers like to put stuff in buckets, and so we put some preparedness stuff in a bucket for you. What's in here? Let's see. Emergency room birth kit, delete mucus trap, oral thermometer, surgical scrub brush, newborn tape measure, 12 pairs of gloves, lubricating gel, alcohol wipes, iodine wipes, BZK wipes, triple antibiotic, under pads, instant heat packs, washcloths, hydration salts, a headlamp, mylar blanket, peroxide bottle, trash bags, freezer bags, straws, foot printer kit, birth certificate, and a receiving blanket on inside of here. So now, on the one hand, for SHTF, man, when people be out there, minus the prophylactics, engaging in the first command, be fruitful and multiply, you might be thinking to yourself, what are we going to do if we need to have a home birth? You're going to get a baby birthing bucket or 2 or 3 of them, and you're going to put these in your preps along with the postpartum bucket. The baby birthing bucket is for the baby. The postpartum bucket is for the mom. Okay? Okay, Bear. They're not sold as a set. You can get 3 of these and 1 of those, or 4 of those and 2 of these, whatever you're into. The other thing is 2 of the ladies who work for Refuge Medical used this bucket to do home births. So like, but how do I know it's going to work in SHTF? Well, they live off grid and they did a home birth using the bucket. So it's been pressure tested. It works. Had some real world user data, end user feedback. All right, so check it out. Prepper stuff in a bucket, the baby birthing bucket, and the postpartum bucket. We've also got the, what do you call that thing? The wound care bucket for long-term wound care. All right, I used my IFAC. Now what do I do? Well, the wound care bucket is designed to treat 1 grievous wound for 30 days or multiple minor wounds for 60 to 90 days. And wound care is kind of the thing after the fact that a lot of people forget about. And so we put together the wound care bucket. It's been reviewed by 20-ish people here on YouTube, different channels, and they've all said 2 things the same. 1, I have no idea how you got this much shit in a bucket. There's like no way to Tetris this stuff back into it. We have gotten dozens, maybe 100 emails from people who have bought the bucket, taken everything out, and been like, help. How do I put it back together? Do you have a bucket repacking video? I don't know how you got all this stuff in here, which is awesome. And the second thing, everybody who's reviewed that bucket has said is, I can't buy all the stuff that's in here and build my own for less money than what I bought it for from Refuge. So, and I've had people say, well, I can build my own. Mazel tov, bless you. Go do it, man. We just had an awesome aid rendered story that I posted in Patreon this morning from a guy who built his own kit, and some of the contents of the kit he bought as components from Refuge Medical. Awesome. I'm going to replace that guy's stuff. He did a great job. A car got T-boned, 2 elderly people and 2 children in it. And he was able to patch them up, wait the 30 minutes for EMS to arrive. So anyway, wound care bucket, birthing bucket, postpartum bucket, all available. Bearfac in stock, shipping fast. You guys know about the Bearfac. The bare minimum. Get over here. Bare minimum first aid kit in stock, shipping fast. We just got some more bags back in the store today. So if like you were one of those people waiting on a red Bearfac, just got red Bearfacs in an hour ago. So anyway, go check that out, refugemedical.com, HSA, FSA eligible. If you're one of the members of the Patreon fam, use your promo code. All right, you know what it is. It's posted on every brief. Use the promo code. Save yourself a little bit of money. Refuge training. Of course, there are Oklahoma classes going on. Go to the website, refugetraining.com. Don't be an ass. Come to class. Learn the fine art of how to not die. Bear, your Bearfac kit is my next purchase. Thanks, Viper3211. I appreciate you. Sugar Maple Homestead. What's up, Bear? What's up to you, Sugar Maple Homestead? Palmetto Paratrooper. What's up, bro? Everybody else in the chat? How's Twitch doing? Twitch is doing good. He's recovering isn't the right word. I'd say maybe readjusting. Right? He's readjusting. But they're doing good. And last but not least, Grindstone Ministries and Caleb House. Go to Caleb House, Caleb with a K, Kaleb house.org. Check out that website. Go check it out. calebhouse.org. A lot of people have been watching the Sound of Freedom movie. We've been getting inundated with emails from people saying, paraphrasing, New Living Bear translation. Holy shit, I knew it was bad. I didn't know that it was this bad. How do I help? On the one hand, I'm really, how shall I say, thankful, I guess, that you're beginning to grasp the degree to which this issue has pervaded our society and the gravitas of this issue. On the other hand, that's one mission about one guy. And it's not that I'm not thankful about that one mission that one guy, Tim Ballard, with Operation Underground Railroad undertook, and the multiple missions before and after that they've done. That's awesome. It's a drop in the bucket, y'all. And so when on the days when I come on here tired, pissed off, stressed out, yeah, like on the one hand, I'm glad you watched a movie about it. On the other hand, oh, you watched a movie about it? Cool, we're over here doing it. And it's a whole different thing. It's a whole different thing. And so many people, Mike Gonzalez, I think this morning, they should be back in stock ASAP, or email sales at Refuge Training or sales at Refuge Medical, or just call the number on the store. Talk to a human. They should be able to help you out, Mike. So many people have been reaching out because of the Sound of Freedom movie, and that's awesome. They're like all fired up. I want to help. What do I do to help? You email admin@grindstoneministries.com. Had a lot of people offer their tactical services. There's a vetting process for that. There's a background check for that. How many times have I said that this problem goes all the way to the top? And I appreciate you wanting to help. And if you want to help, there's some hoops you need to jump through, because I don't know you. You don't actually know me. We need to make sure we're all on the same page before we get to do any shit together. As Reagan said, trust but verify, right? And then our big push right now is everybody should know is building Caleb House. Yeah, let's rescue every kid we need to rescue. Where are they going? Now, I understand logistics aren't sexy, but logistics wins wars. Logistics wins wars. And so if you're just waking up to human trafficking, welcome to the fight. Glad to have you. Do something. That's what we're doing over here on this side of the camera. And to those of y'all who support us with Grindstone Ministries and Caleb House, I appreciate you deeply. If you want to get involved, go to grindstoneministries.com or calebwithak.org. Sign up for the newsletter. Contact us. Let us know what you can do to assist. Click the online giving button, the donate now button, if you feel so convicted to do so. Of course, you can get this shirt right here, the Sauce Facts Not Feeling shirt that I'm wearing. Our brother Rex's The Real Dope shirt, and of course the Caleb House t-shirts, long sleeves, and hoodies from links in the description. They all come from Sanctified Supply Co. So that's what we got going on, man. And I am thankful that people are waking up to this atrocity. I'm also, frankly, just like kind of jaded. Jim Caviezel, who plays Tim Ballard, I heard him in an interview with Jordan Peterson talking about, I guess there's one scene. I haven't seen the video. I haven't seen the movie. I can't think of a good reason why I need to go see the movie. But I guess there's one scene where Jim, playing Tim Ballard, is watching CSAM, child sexual exploitation material. And instead of showing the material on camera, which is very wise that they didn't, they showed Jim's eyes as he's watching it. And the process of his heart breaking while he's watching this. I don't need to go see a movie to understand that process. That's my point. And so I'm glad, as a piece of positive propaganda, that it's working, that people are waking up to it. Man, on the other hand, I'm like, cool, we have shit to do. We have shit to do. And I don't know the appropriate answer for everybody as to how do they get involved? How do they help? What do I do? I don't know who you are. I don't know where you are. I don't know what you can bring to bear. I don't know what skills and giftings and talents and delights that you have. I don't know what your resources of time and money and treasure are. I don't know how you help specifically. I don't know. I know what we are called to do. Our primary mission is to take care of the kiddos we've already got. Our secondary mission is to build Caleb House so we can go get more. And our third tertiary mission is to 100% unequivocally make sure that bad shit happens to bad people. And the egotistical side of me loves it when bad shit happens to bad people. But the primary mission is to take care of the kids we already got. And that's not like that doesn't take a week or two. It doesn't take a year or two. It's a lifetime commitment to that child. And like I said, secondary mission, build Caleb House so we can get more. We know where there are more. And there's very few other ministries, agencies, organizations in the short time that we've been doing this that I am comfortable handing people over to. Yep, we did the rescue. Here's these kids. Take care of them. Because by and large, that doesn't happen. If you've been trafficked from the foster system, there's an 87% statistical likelihood that you will be trafficked from the foster system again. 87%. Let's just round that up to 90. There's a 9 in 10 chance if I take this kid and put him back into that system that they just end up trafficked again. That's why we need Caleb House, to take personal responsibility over this situation rather than farming it out to the government, to break generational curses without being under the thumb of the federal and the state government, because we're not taking funds from the federal and the state government. And to raise those kids up in the way that they should go so that they don't hurt people when they are older. And like, the fact of the matter is, it takes an inordinate amount of money to build this thing. I'm not begging for your money, because if instead of money, you're a roofer, cool. I need a roofer. I need a framer. I need an HVAC guy. I need an electrician. I need a plumber. I need a septic guy. I need, right? Like, so on the one hand, do I need the money to build the place? Yeah. On the other hand, that you have these things that are called in-kind donations. I will trade you goods and services as if I was trading you money. Awesome. Because really what I need is the freaking facility built. One way to get there is to accrue all this money to then pay people to build it. Another way to get there is to have people volunteer their time, donate the materials to come out and build it. Then even then, there's an onboarding process there as well, because the precise location of Caleb House is controlled information, because the bad guys that we took these kiddos from in the first place don't need to be able to find it on Google Maps, which means we have to be able to trust you before we bring you in, right? So with that, I will bid you adieu. I appreciate y'all. Happy Monday. Shalom.